You made it, Sonder family. Happy Friday. I am so excited to welcome you to tonight's Coloring Social. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I get to be your facilitator as we take advantage of this time for a reset and a kickoff, a fresh start to the weekend. Um, Through this little quote on the opening slide that says Friday is the day to finish your goals for the week. It's a day to celebrate that which you set out to accomplish at the beginning of the week. Well done. And if you still have some stuff that's outstanding, it can go into next week. Give yourself that grace and just be happy for what you were able to get done this week. We're going to take a deep breath. Oh, we're here. You may have your coloring page. You may have a different coloring book with you. Maybe you're here working on a hobby and you just want that nice background music. But whatever you're doing to occupy and settle that brain, we are just glad that you are here. Is there anybody here at a coloring social for the very first time? Drop a me in the chat so we can give you a really big welcome. These socials move on days. So sometimes they're not here on Friday. Sometimes they're on a Thursday, or we do a midweek, reset on a Wednesday. So definitely, if you like the Friday, give that feedback so headquarters knows when they get ready to schedule these coloring socials. So we do have some first timers. Thank you for dropping that in the chat, saying me. Make sure that chat is set to everyone so that we communicate that way. Although these coloring socials are a little bit different because we are focusing on whatever our hands are doing to settle our brain. But my amazing co-pilot tonight is Malika, and she'll be hanging out in that chat and guiding you through any questions you might have along the way during our time together. I love the coloring socials. I think these are really special, a little different flavor from the other work that we do in our journals. So there are the community guidelines that we share with one another whenever we're gathered here or we're interacting with each other in Sonder Club. Just those good reminders that we do create safe spaces for ourselves and for one another. We will share that hello at Silk and Sonder link at the end if you need to get that for any customer care that comes that may come along the way. And again, this is about you, and I'm proud of you for carving out this time, making a little space for our evening together. Now, if you have been with us for a while, I share a couple of slides about every quarter. So if this is something that is interesting to you to maybe check out, I have gathered the recommendations that I've seen throughout the different postings in Sonder Club of the types of tools our Silk and Sonder family recommends. So this is from you all, and I've kind of alphabetized the list. And so grab a screenshot. These are our pens and markers that people love using, and there's a certain joy about a good pen when you're a grown up, right? Like we have those preferences, maybe very fine point, maybe very smooth writing. But those are specific brands that have been mentioned by other Silk and Sonder family members. And then I also have ideas about colored pencils and, a couple of the brands that I know folks really like. If you're really leaning into this aspect of coloring and becoming a colorist, people really like to shout out to those Prisma colors. They're a little more, they're a little waxy, and they're very smooth on paper. There's actually a couple of different types of Prisma color. The Sioux color, folks love those, so you might want to grab that. Yes, the paper make flares. I mean, those are that standard, right, Casey? Like I loved those paper mate felt tips. Oh, love them. So yes, and Taylor, I love that you mentioned, these are good things like little treats for yourself, or if somebody says, I don't know what to get you at the holidays, if you find a lot of joy and relaxation in this practice, you deserve to have nice tools. And, just start small and build up your collection. I actually started with my Prismacolors by doing an eBay and got a nice little collection. Some were a little used, but it introduced me to my Prismacolor collection because I do love hanging out with nice pens. It's a little treat. So there are those two slides, and I can come back to those if you didn't catch a screenshot or if you wanted to look at them again. I don't want to go through everything because that eats up a lot of time, but I do like to share that with you, and they're great. I love, I've mentioned many times before, I use these little Sharpies for my writing, and I love them because they're fine tip, and I don't know, it just brings me some joy, those little things. We're going to start our evening with the opening activity that I am so excited about, based around our coloring page in Freedom. We're going to have time to color, and then we'll close. And I have a ton of some fun examples. And if you saw in Sonder Club, I kind of baited our time together with a question. What does our Freedom Bingo in Sonder Club have to do with coloring? And so I'm getting ready to show you, and I hope that that you're excited about this evening as I am. But let's open with our Freedom opening activity. So um, I have some quotes from some famous artists about freedom and its relationship to music. Kurt Cobain says, punk is musical freedom. It's saying, doing, and playing what you want. In Webster's terms, nirvana means freedom from pain, suffering, and the external world. And that's pretty close to my definition of punk rock, that idea of freedom in music. Quincy Jones says, music was the one thing I could control. It was the one world that offered me freedom. When I played music, my nightmares ended. I thought that was beautiful. Ice Cube says, I love music. It's freedom, a way to deal with pent up frustration. Then the Jimi Hendrix, quoted, music doesn't lie. If there is something to be changed in this world, then it can only happen through music. And what a statement for the times, right? When he was so popular and his music was so beloved. I mean, it still is today, classic, right? But such a movement. Prince, our wonderful Prince. Anytime truth is recognized, whether it's in art, music, media, it changes consciousness. When people hear freedom in the music that we record, that's change. And then finally, this last quote about music, it doesn't argue, discuss, or quarrel. It just breathes the air of freedom. So I have a whole list of freedom songs for us to have in the background. It's all guitar music tonight, by the way, because of our page. But I want you to find a space in your journal, a notes page, a blank space, maybe that negative space that's on your coloring page, and respond to this prompt. I want you to recall a favorite song that makes you feel free when you hear it. Now, it doesn't have to be a freedom themed song, just a song that makes you feel free. What is it about that song? Picture yourself listening to it or dancing to it. Who is with you? What feelings are evoked? Where are you? What time period does this bring to mind? And then after you've kind of thought about that song, share your response in the chat. And you might be so led to create, take some of these song titles and make a fun playlist inspired by one another. Mine is Crocodile Rock by Elton John. I don't know why, but when I reflect upon that, I was about 10 years old. It was almost like it was the first song on the radio that I paid attention to and then found community with my friends. I can remember standing in the back of a classroom singing it together. And every time I hear it, it just brings me joy. And I'm 10 years old again. And I put it on my when I turned 60 last year, and I made a song with 60 songs, for one from each year that I've been on this earth, and Crocodile Rock was on that song. It is just something that evokes this free spirit. My home life was a little rough, and I found an escape in that fun song. And so that's what it is for me. I'm going to put on some music while you ponder this, your response, and then share in the chat, and we can all create our very own fun feeling freedom song. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a moment. I I'm so inspired. This is going to be fun. We're going to make a playlist, a freedom feeling playlist. Love this. Great songs on here. Footloose, Freebird, Faithfully, Walking on Broken Glass, Wherever I May Roam, Boys of Summer. Yeah, put those Wayfarers on. Running Down a Dream, Son of Suffering. I Am Woman by Helen Reddy. Wasn't that an empowering oldie, right? From long time ago. Independence Day, which yes, you mentioned it wasn't necessarily that song's not necessarily a happy song, but it is a powerful song. And proud of you for getting out of there. Shout. I'm thinking the thing it was that, you make me want to shout that one. I love that. So yay. So many good songs. So feel free to continue to drop those titles in the chat. And then, I'd love to see your response in Sonder Club if you are comfortable sharing that. Thought this was a really great thing. And if you take a moment to listen to that song that you've shared, you are going to be able to check off that bingo box for our Freedom Bingo game, the card that's in the Sonder Club app. If you're not aware of that, go to Sonder Club, go down to the bottom. It says games, click on that, and you can find the Freedom Bingo card for this game or for this month. And you can check off listen to an encouraging song for that free to, knock out that freedom point. So we have this fabulous guitar this month. Again, I already said we're going to listen to a lot of guitar music today, but sometimes these pages come and we have all those itsy bitsy parts and they can feel intimidating and not relaxing at all. And so I just have a couple of suggestions. Maybe throw that journal on your scanner and blow it up by a little bit. You can see the difference that by increasing that guitar by 25%, it makes the spaces a little bit bigger to tackle, and it might make it a little easier to color in. And I always suggest, especially if you turn to a coloring page that you love, make a couple copies of it and just keep a little coloring folder with your favorite sheets in there. Just scan that in. Remember, there is not a right way or a wrong way to color. Science shows us time and time again what goes on in our brain. A lot of different chemical things happen. I'm not going to go into that tonight. This is just that reminder. But this little bit is from an article from the Mayo Clinic. And, it's a non-competitive activity. It doesn't make you level up. You just do you as you're doing it. You take your time. You don't have to finish a page. It's about the practice of coloring. That's where you get those benefits. And so it says it doesn't matter if your picture is neat or messy. The only thing that matters is if you found relaxation and enjoyment. You don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. So there is another bingo box that you can mark off for our Freedom Bingo this month. If you choose to just kind of embrace a little messiness and enjoy the process. Love this, trying something new. This person said, I did something a little different. She got some Crayola Twistables, photocopied that page because she didn't want it to be a complete failure, and she colored away and found out that it's nice to have markers that, not to have those markers bleeding in. So we can give that, just yes, lots of women are here tonight, Teresa. It does tend to be female heavy for Silk and Sonder. Trying something new can be marked off on that bingo card if you approach your page in a different way. Here's another thing to approach from a different perspective. This person posted, coloring this, oh, it caused me such anxiety, but I got it done. I broke out the old colored pencils and sharpener for this one. So check another box off of that bingo card this month. For the first time since joining, I finished the coloring page. And I laugh because this person is saying, I still don't think it's finished. And I want you to notice how they took the picture and went beyond the borders that are created there and sort of added to it. So really embraced that passion of color and shapes and just enjoying the coloring. So there was another box to check off on the bingo. I didn't like the idea of coloring outside the lines, but once I got going, I loved how it turned out. So this is that reminder that if these little tiny spaces feel a little intimidating, make them bigger spaces. Mine is over there on the right. I started just by doing all the leafy shapes. I'm doing them in green, and then I'll go back and hit the flowers, and then I'll do the guitar. And then if I want, I can go back in and lay down darker colors into the little bits. But sometimes those little bits are hard on hands. If it's like a bad arthritis day, or it just, you're achy. So I want to encourage you to color outside the lines. And that's another space that you can check off on your bingo card. And then a shout out. Here's another space. Compliment yourself out loud. If you'll notice, these two, the left and the middle, they have signed their pages with initials, giving them themselves credit for creating this beautiful coloring page. Here's that color theory wheel, those wheels that I shared last month. I'll just have this available in case you're wanting to do some coordination of colors. I'll go back and forth between all of these slides, and I'm going to stop talking so that we can get going with our practice this evening. Take some deep breaths, relax your shoulders, and I'll be back to check in with you in a little while. Enjoy the music. righty. Our time, these socials are a little bit shorter than the others. They end after 45 minutes because we know that sometimes your hands get stiff, but I just dropped my Spotify playlist for freedom in the chat if you'd like to go grab that. But I also have a slide with them on there, and you can grab a screenshot and maybe create, if you're on like Apple Music, you could create your own. All these guitars, oh, they're beautiful. We'd love to see your page in Sonder Club, but I would really like to know, like, what was the song that makes you feel free and why? If you're comfortable, post that in Sonder Club, or let me know if you checked off a couple of those bingo squares off of your bingo card. I'd love to know that. There are the QR codes that we always share when we are together so that you can refer a friend or upgrade your subscription to an annual subscription, or again, give us feedback in the survey. If maybe you'd like these coloring socials to be a bit longer, maybe drop that in your survey, but you'll get a follow-up email with all of this information as well. I wish you a Saturday filled with love, laughter, and the simple pleasures that make life beautiful. May your day unfold like a tranquil melody, setting the perfect tone for the weekend. I'm proud of you for carving out this time for your reset. And I will be doing tomorrow morning's weekly setup. So maybe I'll see some of you in the morning. Thanks again for joining us, Sonder family. Just loved hanging out with you. Monica and I are proud of you. Time with us this evening. Make it a good one and feel free.
There's a land that I see where the people are free, and I say it ain't far to this land from where we are. Take my hand, come with me where the people are free. Come with me, take my hand, and we'll live in a land where the river runs free, in a land through the green country, in a land to a shining sea. And you and me are free to be, you and me. I see a land bright and clear, and the time's coming near when we'll live in this land, you and me, hand in hand. Take my hand, come along, lend your voice to my song. Come along, take my hand, sing a song. For a land where the river runs free, for a land through the green country, for a land to a shining sea, for a land where the horses run free. And you and me are free to be, you and me. Every child in the land, may you all understand that you're proud and you're strong, and you are right where you belong. Take my hand, come with me where the people are free. Come with me, take my hand, and we'll run to a land where the river runs free, to a land through the green country, to a land to a shining sea, to a land where the horses run free, to a land where the people are free. And you and me are free to be, you and me are free to be.